All right, man. Welcome back to the channel. Second video of the day. This one less well, I don't know. This one could be considered a hot take too, if you will. It is the from cbart.com, the 10 best Disney era Star Wars movies and series ranked. Okay, so they're ranked. 10 being the lowest, one being the most top rated. And what I thought we would do, I thought it'd be kind of fun to sort of go through the list. And maybe at the same time, I would make my own list of where I would score these. So, and by the way, feel free to make a list with me at home, ladies and where you would rank the how you would rank the Disney Star Wars top 10. Now, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say it's all crap. And of course, there's going to be a lot of people who are just going to disagree with the list that CBR has put together, including myself, because I did have a look at it and I'm like, yeah, I don't think so, Tim. Something's not settling right here with me. We're gonna find out what that is, and I'm gonna be very curious because when we go live next, right? That could be at any time. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. Catch us when we do go live. Usually it's Friday or Saturday nights, but I've been known to strike when the iron is hot. If you so, we're gonna put together a list. We're gonna check it twice, and we're gonna make sure everyone is naughty and nice. From The Force Awakens to Ahsoka, the Disney era Star Wars projects have been amazing, disappointing, and all things in between. I don't know how amazing it is. Disappointing for sure, average at best. Let's see what we got. Coming in, and we're just going to go right to the rankings here. Coming in at number 10, and this is one I actually really disagree, is Andor. They're ranking Andor at number 10. See, for me, I'm gonna go on record and say this. People are gonna disagree with me. I can already hear and see Tom Hutchinson, shake his head. Okay. But I'm not ranking Andor at number 10. Andor is far better than the 10th spot. Andor, though, is one of those things. It's like a coffee, it's got an acquired taste. And if you didn't like it on the first run, maybe try the second. It does have a slow start, but my God, does it ever build to something? Let's see what they say. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, was an amazing film, and Cassian Andor was a big part of that. In fact, he was. But his backstory just wasn't that important or relevant to the overall plot. Disney Plus series Andor failed to reach the heights of its predecessor. I disagree. Mainly due to its surprising slower pace. It was only really slow at the start. Aside from expanding on Mon Mothma and Andor's place in the universe, the series didn't fill in any gaps in the Star Wars timeline. Kind of incorrect. They really showed you how the rebellion was still operating by a group of factions and cells, and showing how these were slowly sort of coming together underneath one banner. Casual fans wouldn't even recognize that Andor was part of the Star Wars universe until well into the series. This may be in a good way and reel in new fans that align with the show's slow burn espionage narrative. Provided it proved hard for the series to reach more than a diehard audience. It was so good. Listen, Andor is my number one pick out of this list. I know, I hear the gas already. But, when you see what else is being offered, you're probably like, yeah, okay. Star Wars, episode 8, The Last Jedi. Garbage. Oh, this is number 10. This is number 10. This should have been number 10. Andor is so much better than the fucking Last Jedi. Last Jedi is my number 10. The Empire Strikes Back began with rebels under assault by the Empire in a remote base on the planet Hoth, then fleeing. The Last Jedi begins with a similar premise, that served at the start of the other on-the-nose parallels, like Rey facing Supreme Leader Snooky from Jersey Shore in her throne room. These parallels proved to take away from the largest impact of the narrative by hearkening to a movie that already came rather than complementing it, similar to how the prequel trilogy mirrored the originals. It led to some division and made it hard for The Last Jedi to stand on its own. Look, it was garbage. The Rise of Skywalker. Definitely better than The Last Jedi. I'm not sure where I'm going to rank this in my list yet. It ain't going to be all that high, but it's not going to be numbered. Maybe not even numbered. As the third movie in the sequel trilogy, The Rise of Skywalker had big expectations, but unfortunately, the previous two films didn't effectively set up its finale. Well, no, because they were a fucking mess. A big example of this was the surprise that Emperor Palpatine had returned was also Rey's grandfather. Yeah, that's a bunch of Rey should have been a Kenobi. On record, she should have been a Kenobi, which retroactively hindered the direction previous entry set up. Even still, there were some powerful moments in the movie, like Princess Leia's death, Kylo Ren's redemption. But like all sequels, they struggle with nostalgia. Sadly, audiences have already seen the broad strokes in the sequel, Return of the Jedi, making The Rise of Skywalker tough to read. I've only ever watched it. May give it another watch. Some Book of Boba Fett. Oh, that's my number 9. Rise of Skywalker is better than the book. At least The Rise of Skywalker is a popcorn. The Book of Boba Fett just took an iconic character and made him the most useless guy to ever wear Mandalore armor ever. Boba Fett comes in at my number 9. Based on some cameos in the original trilogy, Boba Fett became a fan favorite for decades. Uh, and there was speculation whether he actually died in the Sarlacc pit. Disney hurt fans and created the Book of Boba Fett. That massive potential that went somewhat unrealized. It was cool to see Boba Fett back in action, but his story dragged through a largely spread out endeavor. The series even had episodes devoted to the reunion of Din Djarin and Grogu, as well as cameos by Ahsoka and Luke Skywalker. While these cameos, like many others, like Danny Trejo's Rancor trainer, was fun to see, the Book of Boba Fett still struggled with this narrative. Yeah, because it wasn't Boba Fett kicking ass. The best parts of the Book of Boba Fett was the Mandalorian episodes. Period. And a story. Ahsoka's going to be a hard one to judge. Okay. Because it's not over yet. We still have an episode to go. And depending on how that episode flies, is going to determine where I'm going to rank Ahsoka. But for now, I'm putting Ahsoka at number 2. Because out of all of them, this Ahsoka feels like to me the real sort of sequel trilogy. Even though it's not big budget movie, it's big budget TV screen, but they could have done so much more if this was an actual movie. And I know there's a movie coming, so on and so forth. But I am digging, Jedi's. I'm digging, the Hayden Christensen cameos. I am digging, this is a continuation um, from the Rebel series. Lots of good things happen here. Two of the greatest characters outside of Skywalker saga are Ahsoka Tano from Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Sabine Wren from Rebels fame. Disney gave fans the two animated shows a gift with the Ahsoka series, which is a likely challenge to confuse those who never seen the animated spin-offs. One of the biggest complaints, and I hear this from a guy, Young Jizo, one of the artists that works with me, that he's never seen the Rebel series and he feels that it's dumb to present a live action series where you need to go back and animate it, understand what the fuck is going on. In the animated series, Ahsoka and Sabine are self-confident, free spirits. But in Ahsoka, the struggle of losing Ezra made both characters pensive and serious, making them appear more abrasive than ever. But seeing them evolve back into their animated inspirations enhanced a story filled with exciting side characters like Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati, who become a phenomenal character. Yeah, rest in peace, Ray Stevens. Solo, Star Wars story. Okay. They tried. They really tried. They failed. I think I'm gonna throw this at my number 8. Oh. Solo Star Wars stories get a lot of criticism, even though it was a good film. I disagree. That filled in some gaps and answered questions about the backstory of Han Solo and Chewbacca. But the movie also gave the origins of the Millennium Falcon and Han's blaster while providing a plausible explanation for how the Kessel Run could be done in 12 parsecs. I think that's the only thing that was worthy of this film, was finally getting an answer to that age-old question. The movie had some difficulties with the original director leaving mid-shot. This is the problem, and that's why it was kind of a mess. Only to be replaced by Ron Howard of Happy Days fame. However, that had no effect on the quality of the film, which was an action-packed and well-crafted tale worthy of the Star Wars name. It's definitely worth another look for those who may have initially dismissed it. Yeah, it was a good made-for-TV movie. The Force Awakens. I'm actually going to give this the number 3 spot because the movie itself was fine. It introduced us to new characters, but gave us some old It really tried to set up something that could have been special and just dropped the ball. That's sort of the fate of Force Awakens. After a 10-year drought of Star Wars movies, The Force Awakens hit theaters in 2015 and didn't disappoint. It was the movie fans have been waiting for with intense space battles, killer lightsaber duels, love original trilogy characters, and cool villains. Was, however, a bit on the familiar side. That's my only complaint. It was A New Hope sort of remastered. Basic premise followed a young person living on a desert planet who comes across a cute droid with information that must be delivered. It was more or less the same plot in Star Wars Episode 4, The New Hope, but was done well enough to make for an exciting new. Yeah, big complaint. Obi-Wan Kenobi was a letdown. Where am I gonna rank Obi? Guys, I still got other. You know what? I'm putting Force Awakens at number 4 because I know the Mandalorian's definitely better than the Force Awakens. Force Awakens goes at number 4. Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm gonna give the number 5 spot. You got it at number 3. I'm giving it number 5 just because of the Vader stuff. It's that alone. It was Ewan McGregor, but it still just failed to hit. It should have been a movie and it should have been badass. The Obi-Wan Kenobi series is another Disney project that doesn't get enough love. While it was a long time coming for fans of the character, it also marked a chance for audiences to finally understand what the iconic Jedi was up to while safeguarding Luke. It turned out old Ben's post-Order 66 retirement was anything but boring. In fact, rescued a young Leia Organa from bounty hunters and faced his old apprentice, Skywalker, who became, of course, Darth Vader. The fact that Edwin McGregor and Hayden Christensen reprised their roles for the sequel trilogy only made but the series more enjoyable. While he goes and cuts meat at the meat. The Mandalorian, I'm giving the number 3 spot. It could, maybe switch with Ahsoka, and how Ahsoka ends. But the Mandalorian, we got, of course, Baby Yoda, which was a big shock and a lot of fun for people. Baby Yoda definitely brought new fans into the series. And just getting all the Mandalorian sort of action and lore has been. Mandalorian was the first Star Wars series on Disney Plus and absolutely nailed the execution. Fans were hooked from the premiere episode when Mando discovered Baby Yoda. It wasn't just a one-trick show either, with each episode being a satisfying adventure as part of an overall compelling story arc. Yeah, watching Mandalorian is like watching Saturday morning cartoons. Just a joy that comes from it. The post Return of the Jedi Galaxy after the fall of the Empire makes for a fascinating world, and the Mandalorian lore gives the show some unique flavor. Of course, having a great villain like Moff Gideon and a Luke Skywalker camp just adds to the full ride. Okay, and so they're number 1 here. Rogue One. Star Wars story. I'm going to give Rogue One the 7th spot. And I must have missed one because I only got 9 here. Rogue One was good. Rogue One was a tie-in to A New Hope. Darth Vader. It had Princess Leia. It had Grand Moff Tarkin. It gave us, Cassian Andor. And it, it was like they say here, get plenty of nods to the original Star Wars while telling a new story. So on the dark one, which was kind of what made the movie cool. Out of all the Disney movies, I think that's what makes it the greatest Disney era project is that it's pretty gritty and raw without contrived happy ending. Jyn Erso and Cassian Andor's final moment was an emotionally intense scene in Star Wars film. Added to the perspective of Vader raiding Leia's ship at the simply. Look, I agree. There's some cool moments in Rogue One. What really sort of uses me is how they can give Andor the 10th spot in Rogue One. you know, um, I don't know. I think we're missing one. Andor that is a Skywalker. I didn't rank Rise of Skywalker, so that's going in the 6th spot. It was fun. They tried to fix some shit. It really didn't work. So just to go over my list again, the 10th spot I've given to The Last Jedi. Coming in at number 9 for me is Boba Fett. Number 8 is Solo. Number 7 is Rogue One. Number 6 is Rise of Skywalker. Number 5 is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Number 4 is The Force Awakens. 3 is The Mandalorian. Number 2 is Ahsoka. And my number 1 best Disney era Star Wars series or movie ranked Andor. Tom Hutchinson, is it better than Andor? That's my question for you. My question for those watching, what is your 10 best Disney Star Wars movie ranked? Let me know down in the comments section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And keep your eyes out for Niobe Penguina, the Kickstarter, coming in about 2 to 3 weeks. We'll be back more with video content.